morning I'm just going to walk up one of my regular places I go walking up to Lumley Hill, which is sort of on the Mount Whitfield little group of hills outside Cairns, well really right inside Cairns. I'm just on the Machin's Beach Road, and where I'm going is right there to Lumley Hill, to the lookout up there. There's a number of ways of getting up there. Probably most people go via the Blue Arrow, but I'm doing something a little bit different today, what I call the Pink Arrow. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at it. It's an early morning this morning because I've got to be somewhere later this morning. So this is a little bit of an unusual route that not so many people use. Most people use the red or the blue arrow. If you come off of Araglen Road onto Palmerston Street, you find this little park, and then if you walk up to the corner of the park over here into the rainforest, you'll find that there's a sign over there which says no dogs, and there's a path which goes up behind there. One of the characteristics of this path is that it starts off very steep, as you'll see up here. You can see that path going up there, which is pretty steep, and really it stays fairly steep and steadily going up all the way to the top. So it's a quick way of getting to the top of the hill, but probably the toughest parts are right at the bottom and at the top. Anyway, let's get off. I thought I'd tell you about how I tend to walk up hills. I like to keep going all the way from the bottom to the top, but when I get to a little flat bit like this, I really slow down, really walk very slowly and try and recover a little bit before I start back up onto these real steep upward stretches. And I call it a polar plod, and that goes way back to when I used to go up to Scotland with friends when I was a lot younger, and we used to go off and do the Munros, the mountains there, and we used to stream ahead up them, and then you'd see these people, older people, probably younger than me now, who would just go up and they just get this very slow plod going on, and we would be tired out and have to stop and rest, and they would just come plodding through. And I think it's a way that the Arctic explorers go. They tend to just plod very slowly. So there was another straight bit, nice and slow, and then back onto the rough bits. And I've found that by doing that, you can just keep going forever. So about 2/3 of the way up, you come to this, I don't know, little plateau on this ridge, which is just beautiful. And then there's that bit there, up under those electric poles, which is pretty steep. I tend to say, I'm not going to the top, I'm just going to reach the next one and have a rest. I just play a game with myself, then when I get to it, I think, oh no, I can make the next one, then the next one, and then before I know it, I'm at the top. The first time I came up here, I actually came through all of that. I didn't know there was a path here, so I just bashed through that bush there. It was just awful, and I didn't have my my poles with me, just had to use a stick. And then after the struggle of getting up that, I came across this path, and since then I've used the path. Anyway, now this last little tough bit. So this is looking down the hill. I'm at the top now, and you can see we're quite close to Cairns Airport. There's an Antonov in, one of the biggest aircraft in the world, just paying a visit, and there's a Jetstar just taxiing. So it is a little bit noisy, this route, but it's worth it to live near an international airport. So I'm at the top now. In that box there's a book, so you can record your visit air. There's I guess a telephone mast and a repeater station, and round the back of this shelter there is a helicopter pad as well, so it's good to get up here. So this is looking out from the top here, looking out over Red Lynch, and then up there is Glacier Rock, where I was yesterday, and then to the side of it Red Buff. So amazing to live in this part of the world where you can do this kind of walking within 10-15 minutes of your door. Just incredible. So that's coming up the Pink Arrow. You can see I'm a bit sweaty. That last bit is a little bit steep and seems to go on for quite a long time. I love the Pink Arrow. I don't know whether it is called the Pink Arrow, but I met a woman on the top of the pyramid down at Gordon Vale, and just by coincidence 2 days later she was the Uber driver taking Anita and I to the airport, and we were talking about walking, and she mentioned this route which she calls the Pink Arrow. So I've always called it the Pink Arrow. I like it. Probably you can come up here on the Blue Arrow, but that tends to be a lot longer in distance and it's a bit up and down. But I like this way because you can come straight up. You can get up in about 30 minutes and about 20-30 minutes down. So in an hour you've given yourself a good workout and seen this incredible scenery. So I definitely think it's one to come and visit.